Hi YouTube. So yeah, I'm still looking 50 Shades of shit because this video is filmed about 30 seconds after the Instagram update video. I actually do have a brain, and that's what this video is about. I'm finally getting around to explaining about the neurological problems and my feet, which is the neurological problems. Yeah. You have to bear with me, it's kind of complicated and I'll try and explain it as best I can. I was going to film it when I was more awake, but because I'm deleting my Instagram account, it was kind of explained there, and I don't really want people that might not know me coming onto my YouTube account and being like, what the fuck's she talking about? So I'll try and explain it as best as I can. And you have to excuse my stupid pictures. I'll try and draw some diagrams. My neurologist did some really cool pictures, and I probably should have saved them. I kept them when I was in hospital, but I think one of the cleaners threw them away. It's another reason to hate the hospital. But yeah, so I'll try and explain as best as I can. Well, there's kind of the separate things that were going on, in that I was undergoing investigations anyway for my migraine, so I had an MRI booked for last November. I have not yet explained in a video that I have filmed, but I will be filming. Last September to December was when I was on my longest fast. The MRI was booked for last November anyway, and it was around last November that I started having some symptoms in my feet, separate to the MRI anyway, so forget about the MRI for now. So I was pretty much bedridden because I wasn't eating anyway, because, as I will explain in my eating disorder and mental health question and answer video, which I'm going to film in a few days' time, I just kind of take to my bed, literally don't move, which is what I was doing then. And I started getting, I think the first symptoms was just like pins and needlesy, and I kind of thought it was like a circulation thing, because I think the first time I went to the doctor, I waited about a week, I guess, and I think I thought, because obviously, you know, with an eating disorder your heart can be affected, and I kind of thought it might be a circulation thing, and he kind of felt, and he said, no, your circulation's fine, you've got a really strong pulse in your feet, weirdly. It could be kind of like a nervy thing, see how it goes. So that was kind of end of November, and from then on it escalated really quickly, and kind of every day it was getting worse. It kind of then started from pins and needles to pain, and yeah, within sort of 3 weeks, I guess, it was like they were just very sensitive. The pain was a lot worse at night. They couldn't be touched. Basically, the best way to describe it is, it was like standing, and this is how I described it, it was like standing in the snow, barefoot, whilst being electrocuted. I couldn't kind of put my feet on the floor because they were so sensitive. I I started not being able to, like, I was like losing feeling in my toes. Couldn't really move my feet, and because when you sometimes don't use a joint, when I had arthritis in my knee when I was 14, I became immobile, so I was trying to use my feet as much as possible, like manually, so I was keeping on moving them, but it was just excruciatingly painful. I was trying to get Mum to massage them and move my toes manually, but it was just horrific. Literally every day it was getting worse and worse. It was from about 5 o'clock, like in the afternoon, through to about 7 o'clock in the morning. Just like being electrocuted, sort of every 30 seconds to a minute. And the pain kind of, it's up to about, let me get one of my feet so I can show you. Up to about it's my foot with a pug sock, from the tips of my toes to about halfway up. And then parts of my foot were completely numb, so I lost feeling in parts of my foot. Obviously went back to my doctor. He then suggested that it could be kind of a neuropathy, which is nerve pain. I'm just going to read you the meaning of it here. I've got it on my computer. It says the term neuropathy is short for peripheral neuropathy, meaning nerve damage in the peripheral nervous system. So that's what neuropathy means. And because I was on crutches anyway because of my arthritis in my hips, I couldn't stand barefoot on my feet. I hadn't done for some time. My feet were kind of constantly cold but hot. It was just bizarre. And I was trying to kind of like warm them up every morning in like a warm, like soak them in like hot water. But like I'd put them in hot, like a hot bowl of hot water. But because I couldn't feel them, I couldn't feel like the temperature. So like I'd put them in like this hot water and I couldn't feel anything for about a minute, and then suddenly I'd realise it was like too hot and I'd be like, ah! And that was actually, when I told my neurologist this, that was kind of one of the things that determined what it was, because it turns out that meant that it was a certain type of nerve that was affected. So what next? Yeah, at the same time, it was around the same time that I went for my MRI, and so I had a contrast MRI, and I got the results back I think we got them back quite soon. I can't really remember the time because I was really poorly, so kind of timings are kind of a bit iffy, and I need to get got another, and I was diagnosed with cerebellar atrophy, which means that there was part of the brain, you have to bear with me, I'm not very scientific, part of my brain had wasted away. Atrophy is wastage, and my doctor explained that it was leading to dementia. It was like a dementia type atrophy. So I'd kind of gone in looking for a reason for my migraines, and I'd come out with a dementia type diagnosis. I then got an urgent referral to neurology for my feet. So I went to the neurology department in the JR, and I met a lovely registrar of my current neurologist who they wanted me to go on like this massive infusion thingy whilst they ran some tests to make sure, because they thought they knew what it was causing the problem, but they didn't want to rule anything out. They didn't want to put it down to my eating disorder and malnourishment, but they figured it was kind of better to be safe than sorry, because the blood test takes 3 months to come back. So I had to go into hospital for 3 days for an infusion, and I had to have the bloods taken, and it was like 10 tubes of blood, so it could run all the tests under the sun, because all my bloods have always come back normal for what they thought it was. So they were like, we need to be very, very thorough. So I went in and had the infusion. Right, long story short, turns out that basically it was what they thought it was. Your brain requires B12 to function. And my B12 was always normal, but your body needs something called MMA to be able to absorb B12. And when they got the test results back, my MMA levels were something like 15 times the normal range, meaning that my body couldn't absorb B12. So I wasn't getting any B12. So my brain, do you see that? That's a brain, and that's the spine, or that's the spine and the body, and that's the feet and the nerves. So when your brain is not getting the nutrients that it needs, it's going, well, I haven't got the nutrients that I need to provide the body. So nerves are going to die. So what are the nerves furthest away from the brain? The toes. So they're the nerves that died first, and also the ones that die are hands and fingers. And that's what I'm getting at the moment. I'm getting symptoms in my hands. It's only just started, so I'm just getting like pins and needles and stuff. I'm making light of it. It's not good, because I've started getting more symptoms in my feet as well, which means that there's more nerves dying, which we don't like. But yeah, basically, that's my long-winded explanation. The brain, when it's starved of nutrients, certain nutrients, B12, it's B vitamins, so it's any nutrients, but it's B12, this MMA shit, I don't really understand, but when it's starved of vitamins, it can't send them down to the nerves, so the nerves furthest away die. It makes sense, really. But yeah, that's very similar to the picture that my neurologist drew. Although his was a lot better, because obviously he's like a neurologist, and yeah. But so where I'm at the moment is I have not walked since April. Not because of my nerves. I walked from January to April with bent, crooked feet, because what happened is I developed muscle contractures in my feet, and my feet are now crooked. Let me show you my crooked feet. I've got a brace on this one, so you have to bear with me, I'll take it off. That's my crooked foot. Obviously, you can't walk on a foot like that. And it needs to be that angle. And I went into hospital. I went into a neurological rehabilitation unit in April. And I went in there and I was able to walk on crutches with bent feet. And I came out unable to walk. And we are currently in the process of complaining. We've got a complaint in process against the hospital. Because you don't go into hospital able to walk and come out crawling. And I have decided that as of this Thursday I am going to get walking. Well, I'm going to the orthotics department to speak to them about getting some braces, and I'm going to demand they give me something, because I've been crawling around for 3 months and I'm fucking sick of it. I've had nothing. That, what's it done? Nothing. Just made me fucking worse. And I don't care what it takes. I'm getting walking braces, and then I've said to Mum, and she's slightly concerned, because I just said to Mum, I don't care if I look like a hunchback and it's just horrific. I'm just gonna work through it and just get rid of the wheelchair, because I don't care if it kills me. Obviously I don't care if it kills me. I don't care if it's horrifically painful and I look like Bambi and I'm flying everywhere. I just need to do something, because I've been left with nothing. My neurologist is fantastic. He is absolutely out of this world. But obviously he doesn't work on that side of things. He's working on kind of the inside of that side of things and trying to sort out the nerve problems and stuff. But so that is basically my feet problems. The other neurological side of things is obviously the dementia symptoms. I kind of, neurologically, I'd say in the last year, it's been really tough, because my brain has suffered. There's been a massive shift in my brain. Obviously some people would put that down to nutrition, but there's been a definite shift in certain things in my brain. I'm kind of, especially the past sort of 6 weeks, I'm getting kind of words mixed up. I'm getting kind of blank spaces in my brain. There's some really scary things, and it's not pleasant. But at the moment I'm just kind of trying to focus on my feet and walking and trying to deal with the constant pain. But I just thought I know that this video is long overdue and it's kind of all higgledy-piggledy, and I'm sorry about that, or maybe I'll try and make a better video when I'm a bit less sleep deprived and pressured. And yeah, so thank you for watching. I'm sorry if this is making no sense. So yeah.